Hey, what's up, everyone? I am a man of my word, and I did watch TNA Bound for Glory 2014, and I'm gonna give you the review. And I did say that if it was good, that I would watch TNA again, and if it wasn't, then I wouldn't watch TNA again. I'm gonna get to something positive. This show tonight was filmed in Tokyo, Japan. They said it several times. And I'm going to give TNA credit. They did something that WWE never does, is they went out of the United States of America. They, for a pay-per-view. I mean, WWE does do that, with they go to the United Kingdom. They go to the United Kingdom for wars and stuff. But never for pay-per-views, not even for like an Extreme Rules. So I like that TNA did that. That they did this chant. They went out of the states. I like that they did that. It was obviously taped though, because you could just tell. But then yeah, I like that they did that. But the TNA Bound for Glory this year didn't really feel like a Bound for Glory. It felt, because they had the Great Mutas Wrestling Company, Wrestle One, on there, so it felt more like that company was having a pay-per-view than the actual TNA company itself, which is a problem. So that's why it didn't really feel like a Bound for Glory. This Bound for Glory though was a hell of a lot better than last year's Bound for Glory. That was a travesty. That really made me look at TNA in a whole different way last year. Well, not completely, but you know what I mean. The matches I thought were good. They delivered. There was a lot of good matches. I still am pretty pissed, though, that they didn't have Bobby Roode, who is the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, wrestle on the show. He's a champion, and you couldn't find a way to get him on the show. Put him in a title match with the Wrestle One guy. I'm just mad about that. It's one of your biggest shows of the year, and you don't have your champion on the show. That right there, you can tell that's just wrong. I think Bobby Roode should have been on this show. But it kicks off with a match. And the commentary, by the way, was in Japanese. So, I mean, I didn't really care, because I don't really watch wrestling for the commentary. I watch it just for the wrestling. I usually tone out the commentary anyways, even if it was in English. So, but we got the first match, and it was Manic versus, I have to look up this guy's name, because he was a Wrestle One guy. Minoru Tanaka. I don't know. That's definitely not how you say his name, but and I thought this was actually a good match, a good opener. I like Manic's new look. I like that they changed up Manic. I still think that I hate that they changed his name to Manic. I liked it better when it was Suicide, but I like Manic's new look. They had some good chain wrestling going on. Tanaka went off the top rope and did a moonsault on the outside to Manic. They just really went back and forth with each other. Manic started dominating the match throughout much of the time, but then Tanaka made a comeback, and Tanaka did a superplex, kind of like arm drag move off the top rope, and Manic kicked out of it. Manic did a crossbody. They just really went back and forth with each other. I thought it was a good opener. Manic ended up hitting his finisher, and I thought that was going to be it, but Tanaka kicked out of it, and then Tanaka got him in a cross arm breaker, and Manic tapped out, and Tanaka won. So I was really happy about that. It was the first of many. I guess it was kind of like a best of three, because they had they had 3 Wrestle One versus TNA matches. And tonight, Team 3D, or the Dudley Boys, and that consists of Bully Ray and Devon. I always call them the Dudley Boys. I just keep thinking the Dudley Boys, but I keep forgetting they're not the Dudley Boys. They're Team 3D. But they showed like career moments throughout the night, what was going on, and it showed the match that the Dudley Boys had with the Steiner brothers, which is Scott Steiner, and the other one, I don't know who the other one is. And I didn't really watch, and the stream I was using cut out, so I didn't see what happened in that moment, so I can't really tell you. And then Ethan Carter III got interviewed and talked about how he's dominated TNA for a whole year, and about him taking out Ethan Carter III, and about his opponent. No, about him taking out Rockstar Spud and his opponent tonight. And they ended up playing a little video package too with They ended up playing a video package with Ethan Carter III about all his victories, how he has victories over Stin, Kurt Angle, Eric Young, Bully Ray, and all of them, how he has a victory over a Hall of Famer, a wrestler, and an icon. I thought that was good stuff. And afterwards, he cut a promo about it, just pretty much bragged about it. And he ends up wrestling Woda Hama. He's like a sumo wrestler, and he kind of looks like Rikishi a little bit. And it was just kind of a match that was there for me. It wasn't really anything special. Woa Hoama did the thing where that Umaga does when he would put his ass to his face. And he did the stink face to Ethan Carter III, but then the referee was covered by Hama's weight, so so Ethan Carter III did a low blow, and then afterwards he hit the Dirty Deeds move that Dean Ambrose does on Hama for the win, and that's really about it. There wasn't really anything special. And then afterwards it shows a Lockdown 2009 edition with the Dudley Boys or Team 3D, whatever you want to call them. This can be my new catchphrase. And it shows them beating Beer Money, which consists of James Storm and Bobby Roode at Lockdown, and them doing the 3D to Bobby Roode through the table. So I thought that was good stuff. And MVP's backstage, and he talked about how he left this big wrestling company and he came down to Japan because he wasn't there to be an entertainer. He was there for the art of professional wrestling. And he brings up all these Japanese guys that were like his heroes, and he said tonight he's going to take out Kazuma Sakamoto. I think he was referencing when he left the WWE to go to New Japan Pro Wrestling, which I like that he referenced that. It was awesome. And then we got MVP versus Kazuma Sakamoto. MVP was the face tonight, and Kazuma Sakamoto was the heel, which was odd because MVP, I think, is a heel. Kazuma Sakamoto is Sakamoto. He was the manager that used to be with Lord Tensai. And this match actually was alright. It was a pretty good match. MVP did the balling kick, did the big boot that he usually does in the corner on the guardrail. And he kind of dominates the whole match. Sakamoto didn't really get much offense in. MVP ends up getting the win with a drive-by kick. But it was okay stuff, though. And then Samoa Joe's backstage, and he talks to him about how he's in Japan and he's going to defend the X Division title. I honestly don't really remember what he said. And this was the match of the night right here. It was Samoa Joe defending the X Division Championship against Low-Ki and Kaz Hayashi. This was the match of the night. At first, Samoa Joe is just pretty much kicking ass, just taking out everybody. And then eventually he tries to go for a suicide dive on Kaz Hashi. And Low-Ki, which is Cabal, by the way, takes him out with a spin kick. And then him and Kaz Hashi have a match, and they start wrestling, and anytime Samoa Joe tried to get in the match, they would take him out. And then eventually Kaz Hashi does a stupid thing where he tries to suplex Samoa Joe in the ring, but he fails. And then Samoa Joe tries to suplex him out, but Kaz Hashi lands on the apron, and he tries to go for the chop, but Kaz Hashi does the chop himself. And then I think Low-Ki takes out Joe, and Low-Ki took out Kaz Hashi, and they stop fighting on the outside. And he tries to throw Kaz Hashi into the guardrail, but Kaz Hashi blocks it, and then they start fighting, and Samoa Joe double clotheslines him on the outside, which was awesome. And he just starts kicking ass again. And then eventually he puts a crossface Loki, and it turns into an STFU. And then Katashi comes in and ends up cross-facing Joe, and then he ends up cross-facing both of them, but then they get out of it. But I thought that was awesome. Katashi tried to put Loki in a submission move, but he went off the top rope and did a moonsault double stomp move, which was which he kicked out of. And then Katashi and Samoa Joe hit a power bomb, and then it led to the Boston Crab, which led to the STF. But I just thought I'd mention that. And Loki tried to go off the top, and then he ends up getting taken out with the rear naked choke, you know, the colossal clutch, I think it's called. And then Loki passes out, so Samoa Joe retains the title. I thought this was a really good match. It was the match of the night for me, and I thought it was awesome. Which is not good because this was the third match, and the fact that this was the match of the night isn't good. But this was the match of the night. And afterwards, it shows Bully Ray putting Dixie Carter through a table. I think this was supposed to be another Dudley Boys moment. Tommy Dreamer's backstage, and he talked about how cause this was filmed, by the way, yesterday on Saturday, and he talked about inducting his friends into the Hall of Fame and how he's going to have one more last moment with him and Abyss. And we got two wrestlers. This match is going to be hard for me to review because all the wrestlers that are in this match I don't know. Andy Yu and Hijo del Pantera versus Jiro Kuroshio and Yusuke Kodama. I know, but the Japanese names, you know, I can't tell to say it. And the Japanese and the wrestler that from the Wrestle One, the announcer from Wrestle One announces this match because Jeremy Borash was announcing the match, but tonight the announcer from Wrestle One announced this match, and this was actually a good match. I like the tag team match. It was just when you don't know wrestlers, it's kind of hard to get in it because you don't know them, but it was still a good match. The wrestler that was wearing, they were the two masked wrestlers were on a team, and then there was another wrestler that wore a jacket the whole time, and then another wrestler that just wore traditional underwear and, you know, the traditional wrestling attire you see. And the masked wrestler with the black and white attire takes out the guy with the natural wrestling attire, and then eventually there was a wrestler, the wrestler that was wearing the yellow and like orange mask ended up doing some pretty sick moves where he did like a crab walk. That was awesome. And the two heels dominate the black and white wrestling attire guy. They dominate him for a while. They do some pretty sick moves together. Like one of them did a big slam and the other one did a spinning like senton move. I can't see. It's hard to review this match. And then they after dominating them so much, the wrestler with the yellow and orange mask gets the hot tag and goes off on the wrestler with the traditional white wrestling attire. And
you almost done?
Not yet. And then he starts taking everybody out, and then the wrestler that is wearing the and then pretty much the wrestler that's wearing the white and the traditional wrestling attire beats the yellow and orange attire with a moonsault, a corkscrew moonsault for the win. And then they show a video package for Team 3D about all the moments that they've done in TNA and stuff. And then they showed the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. You probably could want to check that out. They just Bully Ray talked about how the fans inducted them into the Hall of Fame, and he thanked Devon because tag team wrestling is like a marriage. And Tommy Dreamer was the one that inducted them. So then we got the match between Tommy Dreamer and Abyss and Team 3D. I didn't really like this match. Was more of a memory moment, I think, because it was cool to see them wrestle again. But I guess Japanese has different rules of wrestling because they just kind of don't give a crap. So what ends up happening here is Tommy Dreamer, Abyss had hit like Bully Ray had hit like a big slam on Abyss and he no-sold it, which I didn't make any sense. And Abyss did a choke slam Bully Ray and he no-sold, but then Bully Ray sold a body slam, which didn't make any sense. In the beginning of the match too, they shook hands with Tommy Dreamer, and I think Abyss acted like a heel a little because he didn't shake hands with Team 3D, which was weird. And eventually it leads to Bully Ray and Devon brawling. Each team is just hitting moves on each other. Bully Ray and Devon are working together to take out Abyss, and then they do the thing where Bully Ray holds the leg and Devon headbutts the groin to Tommy Dreamer, and then eventually they just decide to go extreme. They grab tables, they grab everything, and they just stop brawling. And Devon fights with Tommy Dreamer, and Bully Ray fights with Abyss. And they take the bell, and they take like the hammer to the bell, and Bully Ray takes the bell and taps the bell onto Abyss's balls, which was pretty sick. And then they just start using weapons, kendo stick, chairs, whatever. And Abyss hits a choke slam on Devon, and he tries to cover him and doesn't get it. Then he hits a black hole slam on Bully Ray, and he doesn't get it. Then somehow Abyss tried to double choke slam both of Team 3D, but he ended up going onto the thumbtacks. I missed how it happened. And then Team 3D hit a 3D on Tommy Dreamer for the win. So this was more of a moment. The weird stuff is I think why Japanese wrestling's different is because they just didn't care. The wrestlers just let them use weapons, and they didn't call for a DQ, and it wasn't an ODQ match or anything. It was just there. So I don't know what was going on with that. And then Velvet Sky got interviewed and talk about how she's coming into this match as an underdog, but she's gonna leave on top and defeat Havoc for the Knockouts title. And then we have Havoc defending the Knockouts championship against Velvet Sky. I like this match. It was what I expected it to be, but I still enjoyed it. Havoc destroys her pretty much and hits and beats her with the bear hug, makes Velvet Sky tap out, which is different. I've never really seen a match end with a bear hug. Well, I did, but not by a tap out. And what I liked about this match, I like Havoc. I think she's just a diva that just goes in there and destroys everybody. Velvet Sky, by the way, was working as a face in this match, which I don't know what's going on really, if who's face, who's heel. I wonder if it's just the Japanese crowd getting behind these girls, if this was just a one-time thing, but we'll see. But yeah, that's how it was. And then James Storm's backstage, and he talked about the revelation, how he brought Sonata back up, and now he's going to add another member, which leads nowhere later on in the night. So we got James Storm and the Great Sonata versus Tajiri and the Great Muta. I liked the match. The match was all right, but I think the ending, I didn't like the ending. Let me think. Tajiri and Sonata worked good together. There was one thing when Tajiri kicked Sonata off the ropes, but he clearly could have moved because he was just in 4%, but he didn't. And then eventually there's this one part of the match where Sonata and Tajiri go underneath the ring and you don't see what happens. And then when they get out, you see that Tajiri's all covered in blue face paint, which was weird. And James Storm and Sonata dominate Tajiri for a while, and then they cheat a lot in this match. And one part they cheat is when the referee turns his back on is distracted by James Storm. Sonata grabs the steel pipe and hits Tajiri with it. then the Great Muta gets the hot tag on Sonata, and he just beats the crap out of him. Works on his legs. He hit him with the pipe, which the ref saw, but the ref didn't care. And he threw a chair at him, choked him with a cable wire. It was pretty good stuff. And then James Storm comes in and attacks and hits a code breaker on the Great Muta and hits an elbow drop, and Sonata tries to go for a moonsault but misses. And then the referee takes a bump. So then Sonata and the Great Muta and Tajiri both try to use the mist, but they miss each other. And then the Great Muta and Tajiri both use the mist, and Tajiri kicks him in the head. And then the Great Muta did a move. I forget what move he did, and I think it was his finisher, and got the win. And Tajiri and the Great Muta win. My opinion, I think the Great Sonata and James Storm should have won this match, because kind of would have been like passing the torch. The Great Muta was his mentor, and the Great Sonata beat his former mentor, and it would have made this group between James Storm and the Great Sonata look strong. But that's not what happened, and I kind of am pissed about that. But whatever. Then afterwards, James Storm attacks the Great Sonata and Tajiri, and then he calls out Manic to help him. And afterwards, Team 3D went out, make the save, and hit the 3D on James Storm and celebrate afterwards. And that was the end of Bound for Glory. So like I said, this I don't really think this really made me want to watch TNA, because it doesn't really feel like a TNA. I think all the research I had done, like what's been going on with TNA, I didn't need to do, because pretty much it was just a Wrestle 1 pay-per-view with TNA superstars on it. That's what it felt like to me. But we'll see what happens. Should I watch TNA? I'm going to leave that up to you fans. I'm going to leave a link tonight. I'm probably going to make it tomorrow, and I'll put it in the description box in this video. And I'll put it on Facebook and stuff. And you guys, I'll leave a voting poll. You guys are going to decide whether I should watch TNA. Yes or no. Yay or nay. So we'll see. But so that's up to you fans. If you want to see me do more TNA reviews, then vote for yes. If you don't, vote for no. If I don't get any votes, then I'll flip a coin or something. But that's pretty much it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I'll see you later. Bye.